Good morning, gang. How you doing? This is Josh. So I saw a movie. I know I know we talked about it. I know I said I was going to stop, but you knew I was lying, right? I went to the cinema and I saw a movie. This is a movie out of New Zealand, a little horror movie with very interesting marketing and a very fascinating and intriguing looking trailer called The Rule of Jenny Penn. Does not exactly roll off the tongue. It's based on a short story with a similar name and or the same name, I'm not quite sure. And this is a film from a filmmaker named James Ashcroft, a New Zealander, who has made a couple of other films that I have not seen. But in this case, he was able to attract some major talent to this film, which may be what's putting it on the map and getting it released pretty, at least for people who see movies all the time. I've seen this trailer 1,000 times. And he attracted really good talent in Geoffrey Rush and John Lithgow. And they play two residents of a nursing home who essentially are, well, I don't want to say they're tormenting each other, but there's tormenting going on. And the titular Jenny Penn is a little hand puppet, an old-fashioned kind of hand puppet with a baby doll head on it that is at the end of the arm of John Lithgow's character. And essentially, the trailers make it look like a full-on evil doll, evil puppet movie with supernatural elements. And it's really more psychological and existential. And there are because we're dealing with heavily medicated nursing home residents, there can be reveries and visions and things that seem maybe loftier than they are. But this is not really a supernatural movie. It's really just about people tormenting each other. And so I was intrigued by the marketing of this movie. And then I set my camera too low and now I'm ducking to get into the shot. I was intrigued. I thought it looked interesting. I didn't like the title, but Geoffrey Rush and John Lithgow, I'll watch them in anything. Thank you very much. And evil doll movies, not really my thing. Talked about that before, but this looked promising. And then the reviews came out and I started to hear that it was lousy and it was terrible and it was unpleasant and it was bad. So I still went to see it because I like movies like this and I like movies like movies. And having now seen the movie, I can't agree that this is bad. This is not a bad movie. This is a movie made with confidence and style and skill that has attracted incredible acting talent who give very, very solid performances in an interesting, fascinating movie. I guess I do agree with the bleak and unpleasant part. Now, I am not someone who demands of my movies hope and morals and everything turns out okay in the end and everybody's nice. I like a bleak, dark thriller, horror movie, whatever it is, as long as it's about something and it's good, I'm all in. But I guess I would say it like this: if The Monkey is an example of a dark short story adapted well into a feature film with lots of with something to say and with a kind of a little bit of an expansion into a world that's big enough to fill a movie, and it's entertaining and fun. This is an example of a short story that just kind of feels like it's got the bleakness and the vagueness of a short story, and it's just never fun. And it's okay for movies not to be fun. I guess Longlegs isn't fun. Well, no, that's not true. Nicolas Cage's performance is incredibly fun. But the movie itself and the story is quite bleak, and I enjoyed that very much. So I guess it comes down to some very specific things about this movie. I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm going to talk about what it is. I mean, you can see from the trailer that this is a movie about a nursing home. So Geoffrey Rush plays an aging judge. And by the way, I think Geoffrey Rush is Australian or British, I don't know. But these two leads are not New Zealanders, and they're playing them in this movie. It's a New Zealand movie. All the rest of the casts and the filmmakers are from New Zealand. And John Lithgow seems to be doing just a generic British accent until quite late in the movie I realized he was supposed to be from New Zealand, and he was trying to. I don't know if Geoffrey Rush is supposed to be what his character, but there's just this weird element of they're clearly not New Zealanders, but they're they're the leads of this movie, where every single thing else in the movie just reeks of New Zealand. I mean, fragrantly, wonderfully. I love New Zealand. But he plays an aging judge who has a stroke and has to go into a nursing home. And like every other character in this movie, and kind of similar to a prison movie, he's telling himself, this is only temporary till I get back on my feet, till I get till I can use, the left side of my body again, or I guess it's the right side of his body. And everyone's delusional. Everyone's family is about to come and pick them up, and they're all like, so you're already introducing a world before you get to the demented game of cat and mouse. You're already introducing a world, very bleak world, where you're confronted with mortality, and where I feel like aging actors are just kind of, I'm not going to accuse this movie of exploitation, but it really is using the trappings of an elder care home and of elderly actors to just, like, even before you get to the horror stuff, it just feels like we're supposed to think this is really gritty and gross, that there's all these old people and they're unhappy and they're eating mush, and like it's so bleak in its resting form that when you get to the craziness of John Lithgow tormenting everyone, it's just like, oh, this is unrelenting. There's like nothing to really hope for. There is a character played by, I don't remember his name, but there's a New Zealander actor who plays an aging footballer who's there. He's a very sweet character. He's one of the only things to grab onto for a likable character in the movie. And he's got a few moments that I really enjoyed. But by and large, I feel like, here's how I'll say it. I feel like if you're like 18 or 22 and you feel nothing, you relate in no way to elderly characters in a movie, then you'll be like, oh man, this movie's about these really gross old people in this nursing home, man. It was so gross and crazy. But I turned 50 this year, and in general, regardless of age, I like to think of myself as an empathetic person. I'm self-aware. I understand that I am aging. I understand that it's not, elderly people in a nursing home are not some alien race. That's us. It's about, so I guess I was just so put off by how gleefully cruel this movie was to its characters, and how willing it was to just humiliate a bunch of elderly actors over and over and over again in every set piece, that it really put me off, and it really left a bad taste in my mouth. Now, that would be mitigated if the story were great, and I don't think it is. I think the performances are really good. John Lithgow's great, but I don't think we get enough dimension. I don't think we get enough. It's just kind of certain types of things start happening, and they happen over and over again, and sometimes the balance of power shifts between characters until we have a sort of resolution. But there's even some attempts at revelations late in the movie, but they were confusing to me, of who's who and who knows who from when, and all that stuff really, maybe I wasn't paying attention well enough, but that's my impulse, my Protestant impulse to make everything my fault and to confess for it. But so I don't know. This movie is worth seeing if you like this kind of thing, and if the trailer looks interesting. But I'm telling you that I think it's a bit of a misfire, and it's a bit. I don't often say that movies are too much. I'm the genre movie enjoyer. They can be funny and breezy. They can be dark and foreboding and existential. And if they're about something, I'm there. I'm not sure what this was about, and I'm not sure it was worth the journey. And these two actors signed on, and they executive produced, and they gave good performances, so they saw something in it, and I hope they feel like it's a success. But I'm putting this one in the negative column, I guess. Not many movies this year that have been straight up bad, but and again, I'm not calling this bad. I'm calling it not for me, and not great. So that's my review of this movie. I will be back soon with a new short and some more reviews. And you can join us over on Patreon to see everything early and some exclusive goodies, and you can hang out over there. I thank you so much for your time. I will talk to you next time. Josh out.